Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good wherever you are. Just good, good, good. Misha Safran here, joy and resilience coach, academic life coach. Oh my gosh, actually, I have a lot of titles. Trilingual, award winning speaker. Super excited to start really saying who I am and what I'm doing and acknowledging my successes. And I'm here today in the 51st episode of Passing Joy Around the World. And whoops, I'm going to mute myself. Of course, I got a tickle just as I was saying something, and I got a cough. Excuse me. So, one moment, everybody, just stay tuned. Woo! Okay, thank you for being patient. All right, so today we are talking about the coexistence of joy and pain and the truth of it all about eating. Yes, about eating. I'll be talking with Liz Urbina. She's a conscious, healthy eating coach. I'm super excited to have her here. I know her, I enjoy her presence, I enjoy her expertise, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Before I do, I just want to remind you all that this podcast is live streamed into my two private Facebook groups, which is Joyful and Resilient Women and Joyful and Resilient Families. Today, I am also showing it in my personal Facebook page, and sometimes I show it on my YouTube channel. However, we will be disconnecting from my personal Facebook page and then continuing in my private Facebook group. So if you are wanting to watch and hear and enjoy the expertise of all of my weekly guests, you will need to become a member of one of my Facebook groups. The Joyful and Resilient Women's Group is for all women who identify as women, lesbian, bisexual, trans, androgynous, et cetera, not to leave anybody out, BIPOC, LGBTQIA, et cetera. The Joyful and Resilient Families Group is for all gender, non-binary, et cetera, parents in the world who would like to learn how to be more joyful and resilient in their parenting. So with that, please feel free to enjoy and stay here on my personal page and watch for a little while, but we will be jumping into the other groups and staying there. So I am introducing Liz Urbina. Liz Urbina mentors and inspires health-conscious professional women to transform and heal their relationship with food so they can consistently better in their own, feel consistently better, in their own skin and achieve optimum health. She is the founder of the Diet-Free Conscious Eating Academy. Through having struggled with unexplained infertility, hormonal imbalances, and constant digestive problems herself, Liz has devoted the last 10 years to find a way to take control of her own health. Through intensive research and testing, she's discovered a system to balance her hormones and heal her digestion, allowing her to overcome her health setbacks and feel great again. And I can witness this. I mean, you will see this in her smile. In any case, Liz's custom program empowers women to take control of their health and well-being with simple and natural approaches that stay with them for life. Liz believes that when women prioritize nurturing their bodies and minds, they can absolutely bring their best selves to whatever they want to create in life. And ta-da! Liz, behind door number 2. How are you?
Hello, Misha. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Thank you for having me. This is
I
exciting.
am delighted. Yes, it is. It is indeed. Because, the first thing that attracted me to you and what you do is the word conscious. And I actually met the love of my life through the Conscious Girlfriend Academy. And it's about really being in life and in relationship at a conscious level and sitting through and walking through discomfort. So when I thought, oh my gosh, conscious eating, there's a lot of pain that I've experienced through eating with food. Food has been both a curse and a blessing in my life. And so I'm super happy to have you here today and to introduce you to my friends, my followers, my audience, my enemies even. I'd be happy to introduce you to my enemies. I don't really have any, but
Exactly. That's so awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. I love it, Misha. Love being here. Yeah, and I love your energy too, and your optimism, and your joy and resiliency. So
Thank you.
it's a pleasure to be here.
So let's dive right in. Let's just talk about what are the pains that are associated and related to food. What are they? Let's be real.
Yes, let's be real. The pain is that unfortunately we are steering away from what real food is. And it is not totally our fault. It is a systemic problem, in my opinion.
Yes.
And because, yes, and the problem is that we are like flooded with all this misinformation being advertised with all these different type of foods who even as healthy foods that are not healthy at all, and we are so misinformed in an era where there's so much information. We are more disinformed than ever, and this confusion and this misinformation is kind of on purpose, because there's so much interests, let's say, behind the food industry, right? Like the finances, like the economic impacts of the food industry, and how we grow foods, and how we process foods, and how we sell the foods, and how we eat, actually, right? And it's like it's a multi-billionaire industry that has invested so much money into understanding how our brain works, how even our taste buds work, the connection between our taste buds and our brains, and how we segregate the hormones that make us feel good. And they are literally manipulating us with all this information and all this knowledge in order to like the foods that they produce, literally.
In order to and kind of to ask us to like the foods that they produce.
Like literally, we and the more we buy those foods and the more we eat them, the more we become addicted, literally, to those type of foods. And it's unfortunate. Like I suffered myself through from this issue, right? Like I thought for many years that the only way to survive, like the other thing is, of course, our lifestyles, right? We live in a world where we are in a run all the time, and we want to take shortcuts wherever we want to take. We can take shortcuts. And one of those, of course, is offered by the food industry. And I was one of those persons who thought that the only way to survive was through taking those shortcuts. So buying takeouts, buying pre-made frozen fruits, buying, the easy and quick meals that we can just put in the microwave or in the oven, and there you go. You have like a meal, right?
Yeah. Let me pause you right there. If anybody, for those of you who are listening or watching right now, it's okay to tell us, like, have you been a victim to that kind of lifestyle, or has your lifestyle created an environment for you where you have to go to fast food, you've had to get pre-boxed foods, or you've had to get certain things that are and a lot of those things are high sodium and whatever else, but I remember raising children feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so wiped out, I can't cook tonight, I'm exhausted. So if you're watching right now or in the replay, you can do hashtag replay, but have you found yourself at some point in your life, and maybe you are not doing it now, where you have been really kind of captivated by the need for urgency, like to get fast food, to get the box foods? I'd love to see it in the comments if you can identify, if you can relate to that. So go ahead, Liz, back to you.
Yeah, so it's so easy, to fall in that trap. It's because the other thing is that usually, or there's this conception that those type of foods are also cheaper, right? So it's
wait a minute, what do you mean there's a misconception that they're cheaper? Aren't they cheaper?
You know what? People spend more money when
I have a conflict here. Okay, go ahead.
People spend more money when they like cumulatively they spend more money when they buy this type of foods than when you buy fresh produce and you cook your own food. Like that's a truth. That's a reality. So we have the conception that we see, oh, like you go to McDonald's and there's a burger for $3, right? Like it's like, but you think about it, it's like, okay, what kind of meat can be, sustainably raised and nutritionally good that makes a burger to be $3? Like, so anyways,
You're
but
making my stomach turn. So I want to just go back to, there's somebody that's commenting, and it's, yeah. So someone said, yep, living in Indiana, making less than minimum wage, lack of access to actual grocery stores or affordable fresh food. We tried our best to save enough for better groceries, but they were just more convenient. The fast food is simply cheaper in the short term. So yeah, you were just speaking to that, right? It's less expensive in the short term.
Yeah. So anyways, so in my own experience, like the problem with this and making this choice, and the pain with making these choices, is that you don't necessarily see the impact right away, right? You don't see, like, unless you have like a stomach ache or diarrhea or something like that right away, you don't see the effects of making these choices right away. It takes time. So, and you don't notice it sometimes until it's like a little late, for some things, not for everything, but for some things. In my case, I was noticing things like bloating, skin issues. I was feeling my energy. Oh my goodness, my energy. I was surviving on 3 and 4 coffees a day, because I was like not being able to stay focused. I was not being able to get my work done within the time I had to. So I ended up working more because I was not focused. I was not able to be on task and do the things I had to do within the time that I was supposed to be doing it, right?
Right.
And we don't necessarily appreciate those or relate those things with what you're eating. Right. And you go to the doctor, and the doctor, because that's something that is not, I mean, you're not gonna die for that necessarily right away. So
right away. Uh-oh.
Yes. So it's like,
did you guys hear that? She said, right, you're not going to die right away. So obviously we're getting to some more pains. Go ahead, keep telling us.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, off you go, thinking like you just have to learn how to live with that, right? You just have to learn. And that was what I did. I just, I had to learn how to live with those things. And so I noticed things like, for those women out there, if your period is not very regular, if you have like these super, horrible pain when you have your period, of if you're into perimenopause or menopause, and your symptoms are super, annoying, there's a relationship there with what you're eating. And as I said, we don't necessarily make that connection right away. And I realized that in the hard way. Like, I was diagnosed with infertility at the age of 34, when I felt like I was in the flourishing period of my life, ready to give my only son, ready to give him siblings. I found myself struggling with that and realizing that was probably not going to happen. So it was devastating. And and even at that moment, I hadn't even made the connection yet. It wasn't until I started doing the research, finding mentorship, and finding even alternative medicine expertise, because that's the other part that I am very grateful for our health system, for those doctors and nurses who are in the front line. I appreciate them so much, and they are great in so many ways. But unfortunately, there is no prevention view on our health system. It's more towards fixing what is already broken, right? Or reducing the symptoms of something that cannot be fixed anymore.
Yeah.
So then that's why I turn into the alternative medicine part, because they tend to look more into the prevention side and the root causes of why
Mhm.
is this happening, right?
Mhm.
So that's when I started, learning so much about this, about and connecting the dots really
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
how the choices that I had been making for my entire life probably had been, a good part of the cause of what I was
Mhm.
experiencing at the time. So, and then I started taking action. I started taking
So
action.
before you talk about the action, okay, anybody who's watching on my personal Facebook page, we are going to turn off the video from there. If you would like to be able to see the rest of this video, you'll want to go into, there are links. You can press the link to join the Joyful and Resilient Family Group or the Joyful and Resilient Women's Group. But we're going to take the rest of this conversation into the private groups. And thank you all for watching there. But I'm going to say goodbye to the people in my personal Facebook page, and we can get back to y'all later. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll put the link there as well. So we're going to do that and continue with the
Taking action.
yeah,
Yes.
taking action.
And with taking action, then we start going into the joy part, right? We start looking to the joy part, because taking action is kind of painful to take action at the beginning, right? Like, no one likes change. It's hard to make changes. It's not comfortable. But when I started seeing the results, when I started seeing that, that bloating that I had like 90% of the time, it was going away without me doing anything else, without taking any medication. Like, that was like mind blowing to me. Like, when I saw my period becoming regular again and not being painful at all, and things, my skin clearing up, and me not having to drink coffee. Like, I don't drink coffee at all today, and I have energy. Like, it's 11 p.m. in the evening and I'm already going.
You're, wait, 11 p.m. in the evening, you're still going, or 11
I'm
p.m. that you're getting started?
Yeah, so it just feels so good, and sometimes you don't know how you don't know how good it feels to be good until you're there. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
we get
Without a stimulus, without an additional stimulus. Yeah, yeah.
yes, it's like we get
Absolutely.
used to feeling crappy, and we
Right,
normalize it, and it's
right.
like, well, this is just how life it is.
Mhm.
And until we realize that it doesn't have to be that way, and
Right.
so that is why I really became passionate about this. I started seeing it in my family. Like, my son had this rash in his skin forever,
Mm.
and he got tested by different allergies and sensitivities, and everything came back normal. And then I started making these changes in our diet. That rash went away. Like,
Wow.
it's like, and the doctor always told me, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, it's normal, some people have it and it's okay. He's not gonna,
Mm-hmm.
there's no
Mm-hmm.
consequences of it. But if you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, and that's something I always tell people, like, when you have something that is, like, our body talks to us, and we
Mm-hmm.
sometimes are not very good listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have those kind of things, like things happening in our skin, or headaches, migraines, these imbalances that we feel in our bodies, and what else is happening inside, if this is
Mm-hmm.
expressing on the outside, how many other things are happening in the inside that we are
Mm-hmm.
not seeing or feeling right yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of a message in there. And so my mission right now is, like, I want to bring this information to as many people as possible, so that they don't have to get into that pain point of
Yes.
having to suffer from something so painful that makes them wake up and start making the changes. And the other, just talking more about the not the pain, but about the positive part of this,
The joy of eating.
joy part of this. It is not that difficult to do. Like most of us, and I was one of them for sure. I used to think that eating healthy was time consuming, complicated, expensive, not possible for me to do it. Like there's no way I can do this. You know what? What I found is, number one, when we are kind of forced to do things, we find a way to do it. And number two, when we like, well, my background is in engineering, and being an engineer, I love science, number one, and I love processes and systems and having the step-by-step way of doing things. And that's what I did. I just created this process that has worked for me for the last 8 years at least, for eating well consistently without having to spend, all my weekends, because that was the first thing to me. Like I was spending the whole weekend just grocery shopping, meal prepping, and having everything ready for the week. And it's like, this is no life. Like it's my only time, free time. I wanna do other things. I wanna spend family time. I don't wanna be in the kitchen all day.
Yeah.
And so this process allowed me to, to just make this so efficiently that I only, like today, I spend 2 hours a week to prepare all my meals for the entire week. And that's it.
Wow.
I'm done.
Wow.
And during the week, I just make, the quick salad or the quick thing just to, the side dishes or something like that. That is like so easy. It takes out all the stress of, oh my gosh, what I'm going to have for dinner today. It's so freeing. It's like liberating yourself from that, from that stress. So
I imagine that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine that part of the joys of eating consciously the way you do is that you even have higher self-esteem and confidence, that you have a more appreciation for yourself and your body, that you have more energy.
absolutely, it's one of the things. So one of the things is one of the things that was happening to me before, I was gaining weight, right? I was gaining weight, as I was not super active. I was not like, I was not obese, but I knew I was not on my healthy weight anyways. Today, like, I'm wearing the same size clothes I wore 20 years ago when I first got married. Like,
Wow,
and
how wonderful.
I'm so proud of that. Like, it's a stupid thing, literally.
Whoa. Okay, so as a joy and resilience coach, I'm going to stop you right there. We're not allowed to denigrate ourselves, especially
Oops.
on camera in front of everybody. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm gonna intervention there. It is not stupid. It is not small. It is beautiful that you are allowing yourself to be empowered by your expertise and your choices as a result of your expertise.
Yeah, but what I meant is like a superficial result, if you will, right? It's not like the internal benefit.
Okay,
And
so that's
in a
different.
way,
That's different. And
exactly.
so yeah, so I
But
want my audience to know that it's like superficial. Who gets to decide whether that's stupid or not?
yeah,
Right? And it may be stupid for you, but for other people, there's been a lot of challenges with regards to physical appearance. I will say, as a victim, or survivor, I should say, of sexual assault and date rape, I did a lot to make my body larger and hide, so I could hide so nobody would be attracted to me. I spent a lot of time just feeling like I don't want to have a pretty, beautiful, sexy body. And I had to learn that it was okay for me on that superficial level to have a beautiful body. And so I bring that in because we're talking about the truth of things, right? I definitely, like, we can talk about the joys and the pains all we want, but as long as we bring in the truth, is that that's superficial for someone is also really deep for somebody else.
True.
Right.
True.
And so
Absolutely.
I just caution all of the people watching and my guests that to really embrace who you are, and whatever level that is, to try to avoid labeling it, right? Because you've done an amazing job, Liz, and you have done what you need to do for you, and now you're giving that gift to others to be able to do. And so to be able to love your body on the outside and on the inside is such a gift. Right? I mean, I'm grateful, and I can say today, for the most part, I'm very happy with my body because I've done a lot of work. And there are things that I'm not happy about that will never go away. I just can't. There's nothing food will change for that. So I want to just kind of put that out there as the pain of the experience of eating and what our society does. This is how we started. If anybody missed the beginning of the interview, we started with the way society, marketing, businesses really manipulate us with regards to food and image, right? And then the joy is being able to take it back and say, I can become empowered to eat consciously, to eat well. And,
Yes.
and there's so many joys that are related to that. So those of you that didn't hear that, some of the joys that Liz expressed was this energy, like even by 11 o'clock at night, she still got energy, right? And I imagine you have clients giving you similar testimonials. And then the other piece is that I also hear you saying that there's higher self-esteem. There's more appreciation for yourself. You're proud of yourself.
Yes.
Right? I mean, these are
Absolutely.
really important. So we don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to give an opportunity for you to share with everyone your masterclass that's coming up. You said it was called 4 Secrets to Eat Well Consistently. It's October 12th, and people can register. Can you tell people a little bit more of what they are likely to learn in that masterclass?
Yes, I am so excited about this. And it's the second time I'm going to be offering this masterclass, because the first time it was just like everyone was so happy and asking for more. So I said, okay, I'm repeating it. So in this masterclass, literally, I will be sharing that system that I created. It's a 4-step system that has really empowered me to be able to eat well consistently in the long term. Like, no, without excuses, even, holidays, and, having events like life events happening, and busy weeks at work, and the son having piano lessons and hockey practices, and how to make it work so that you can stay consistent and build on it. It's a process. It's not like a quick fix thing. It's a process, but it's so doable and it's super simple. So that's what I'm going to be sharing well, in my masterclass on October 12th. So super excited about that.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. So again, it's called 4 Secrets to Eat Well Consistently, October 12th. And you can register at https://lizurbina.com/4-secrets-to-eat-well-consistently/ and I'll put that in the link. I think I actually put it in the description of the interview. So is there one hot tip you can, as we close up here, actually, before you do that, anybody who's watching, whether you're watching the current interview and you're right here with us live, or you're watching the replay, you can put #replay, your takeaways. What did you learn today? And is there anything that resonated with you? So what did you learn today? Or is there anything that resonated with you? Please feel free to put those comments in the chat, or in the comments below the interview. And Liz, is there a hot tip that you want to leave people with today?
Yeah, oh my gosh, there's so many hot tips I would like to give, but I feel like the number one thing I want to share is, before I go, is that most people that come to me, they come for either health reasons, or, they want to reach their healthy weight, and they are not really thinking about the rest of the family. Like, a lot of people come having done like several diets, and they have to kind of make a meal for themselves and a different meal for the rest of the family. And the first thing I say is, this is not a diet. This is about consciously eating, about going back to the foods that love us back. And everyone can do this. You don't have to make a meal for yourself and a different meal for the rest of the family. You want your family to embrace this too. You want to teach your children to learn what real food is and how they can feel better and perform better at school and be better persons. Even those mood changes that at some stages our children have, they become less peaks and valleys when they are supporting their bodies in a better way through the food they eat. So it's like a benefit for everyone. So that's the best message I think I
So
can.
it's really a lifestyle change.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's really important. I think that more people, it's hard. Sometimes, change is hard, right? And then, but great tip. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And just a reminder, everyone, you can also, if you're not in my private groups, well, those of you who are watching are currently in my private groups on Facebook, but you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and there you will see all of the interviews through Passing Joy Around the World. We're at 51 episodes now, and you'll also see all of my webinars, A Candid Conversation about Systemic Racism, that I host with my partner, Jody Lewis. And thank you again, Liz, for being here with us today. Really appreciate seeing your smile, seeing your energy. You are definitely your own testimonial to the work that you do. And I'm sure that the people that work with you are going to really enjoy not only the masterclass, but potentially future work with you. So thank you. And goodbye, everybody. Say goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, Misha.
You're welcome. Thank you.